Well, joining us now is one of the four original Oh Dear sponsors. It's Troy Klaus from Doortender. So, Troy, welcome to the show. Pretty excited to have you on here.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. It was actually, so funny story, it was my mom's birthday today, so happy birthday, Mom. But
Happy birthday, Troy's mom.
I told her, I said, Mom, we got to cut it short. I got to go. I'm going on the Oh Dear podcast. And obviously, I had to explain what a podcast was at that point. And then her next question was, well, why do they want to talk to you? So that was good. Good for the confidence. So let's do it.
I can answer that question right now because, as I just said, Doortender was the original sponsor of Oh Dear right after episode 1, which was amazing. And not only that, it's a newer business in town. We've been all over you guys since this started, and a really cool business. So I guess to start off, we'll just let you explain exactly what Doortender is, and then how you and your three friends kind of got it started.
Yeah. So Doortender basically started a year ago with the simple idea of changing the way that people buy liquor. So for those of you who don't know, customers order off the Doortender platform, so off the app or doortender.ca, and products are delivered to you in 20 to 60 minutes. Which is nothing groundbreaking, but what Doortender does differently is we don't charge a delivery fee, and we price the same as the local liquor store. So nothing like this has really ever existed before. So we're very excited to bring that, new value proposition to the market.
So I guess building off that, Troy, how, where did this idea come from? Was it sitting around a fire with a few drinks, or was it something you guys had in mind for a long time and then you took the leap?
Yeah, so it was actually about this time exactly last year. We kind of had this idea, began chatting about it with a friend, and I think everyone can relate to, you've had a couple drinks and you're like, oh, we should make this app, or we should start this business. I think everybody's done
podcast,
that. Or start this podcast. And then, fortunately, and I say this lovingly, but I happen to be friends with a bunch of computer nerds, so we were able to kind of begin executing on it. So we were all working and just kind of talking about this business as COVID was building. And then COVID hit, and all four of us were furloughed basically on the same day. So we took this day and we were like, damn, this sucks. So we had a few beers that day. And then the very next day we jumped in and we started building Doortender. So, yeah.
So it came up pretty quick then, probably a lot quicker than I would have imagined. And I know probably COVID has helped with that too, with things going to delivery. And I think what I learned after partnering with you guys and getting to know you guys a bit more with Doortender too is that you guys are a liquor store. I think a lot of people think it's just another app where they order it, you guys go to a liquor store, get it and bring it. But that's why you can't charge the delivery fee, right? Is because you guys are holding all that stock in your own store.
That's right. Yeah, we get, so many people are so confused by what we are, and everyone's like, oh, this is Skip the Dishes or this is DoorDash. Like, we already have that. So that's been a big challenge, is like explaining to people. And this is how we create the value, because pretty much everyone we explain it to is like, okay, so you don't charge a delivery fee and it's the same price. You must be a scam or something. What's the catch? So the difference is basically we are the liquor store, like you mentioned. We are also the Skip the Dishes, and then we have our own logistics and courier network. So by doing all that in-house, we save the costs, and we're not paying to Skip the Dishes, and we pass those savings on to the customer. So I promise you, it's not a scam. Nobody's getting ripped off. You're just getting a great deal.
Yeah, well, you got to say that, but we do believe you, so it's okay.
Yeah, but you're right. COVID was, a big part of it. It wasn't a COVID-inspired thing, but when COVID hit, we're like, people want delivery now. We got to go, and we got to start going. So from that day we were laid off, just 88 days later, we had built the app. We had got a liquor license. We had got a loan, found a location, bought the inventory. And then 88 days later, we were ready to go, because COVID, just like it did everything, accelerated, technology and advancements. And now you've got, I'm sure, like, people's parents are using Skip the Dishes. They know how to online shop and do click and collect groceries. So it's really accelerated the adoption of this type of service.
So Troy, you guys have been open for a number of months now, and for you personally, what do you think has been the biggest surprise, or what's the one big thing you've learned from starting this business from scratch?
When we started, I was thinking, like, as you can probably guess, like, oh, we're going to be delivering to a bunch of like drunk college kids at 10 p.m. that want lucky beer or something like that. And it has not been the case at all. It's like totally different. So our customer and our demographic is not what we had expected at all. Our average customer is like 33, 34, and it skews female. So it's like, millennials or people that are more, used to using technology. And it's like, kids are asleep. I can't take them to the grocery store. I don't want to haul them off. It has an added benefit. So Dustin, or some of you guys can probably, attest that, it's not easy to haul the kids around. And
well, I think Dustin's your number one customer, actually.
Yeah,
right,
it's sure convenient. And, I think another thing that we should mention, and maybe you can touch on this a bit too, is the referral program that you guys have set up with once you're signed up. You can let your friends know, email them a link, and each of you receives $10 off an order as well.
That's right. Yeah. So like when we launched, we started laying, all our hard-earned money to like marketing. So we're doing radio, we're doing door hangers and all this stuff. That's like, traditional things you think of as marketing. The number one thing for us, and it's not even close, is friends and family and people just telling people. And what we find is once you've tried Doortender and you like take that leap and do it a first time, it's, they stick. We have a very sticky customer that continues to use us. So the refer a friend program, you get $10, your friend gets $10. It's great. So I'd encourage anybody to, send it around, pass it around. That's what it's there for.
Troy, when you mentioned friends, like we've had, a lot of our friends tell us that they've started using Doortender, just like you said, they keep using it. And I mean, hopefully that's the case. Hopefully they're not dirty liars. Like a lot of our friends do have a lot of terrible qualities, and you know exactly who I'm talking about. But how have you seen the pickup grow over since you guys have been open? Like, is it exponential or is it just kind of been steady?
It's been crazy. So when we launched, we had the four of us, we hired a bunch of drivers, and we're like, it's going to be nuts. We're going to open the doors and people are going to be ordering liquor and everything's going to change. Not really the case. So we sort of, the first few months were slow and getting it going, but just as time's progressed, word's gotten out. It's been crazy. So now we've got like 6 or 7 full-time drivers and staff. Christmas was huge, obviously, and people that's always a busy time for liquor. So it's been crazy. And I think tonight my phone's been going crazy. So tonight's like one of the busiest nights. It's starting to get warm. People are, they're in the drinking mood now. So it's good. It's picking up.
Don't they know it's your mom's birthday? They got to leave you alone.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe it's your mom calling you.
Yeah.
So I think this piggybacks off some of these past questions. One of the businesses I'm involved with is all about online sales, and I've had a crash course in online marketing and digital marketing. And I'm just curious, what do you see as working the best when it comes to some of the actual online or digital marketing?
Yeah, so digital marketing is interesting. So friends and families want social media, and like social media paid ads are number 2. I'm sure maybe some of you have seen the Doortender ads. And it's a tricky game finding the right ads that resonate with people that, people click and will check. We've had a bunch at the start and, they weren't really landing. You can see all the metrics, but what we found like the best messaging was like explaining to people that we're local. It says Doortender is a local liquor store, and that's really resonated with people. And I think that's just been generally a huge push, like support local and all this stuff. Why pay skip the dishes? Go to your local restaurant. So that's a big thing. Google ads. We're fortunate that we kind of came to the top of Google pretty quickly for delivery. Like you Google liquor delivery, we go to the top. But digital's changed. Spotify ads we've launched now too. The world of marketing is definitely ever evolving.
There's a lot out there for sure.
Yeah.
And hey, you didn't mention podcasting, but I guess that's probably
no.
So,
I'm glad you mentioned it, because when we launched this, I wasn't sure what podcasting was going to come up with, but we have a checkbox for podcasting. And it's blown out what we had expected. So many people come up to me like, we saw you on Oh Dear. Yeah, Oh Dear. Had no idea you existed, but Oh Dear told us. So it's disappointing on one hand. I'm glad you guys have been the bread steps.
Disappointing depending on which of the 5 of us you ask.
Got a lot of drinkers that listen to you guys. That's good.
Well, yeah, you'd have to be, I think. And building on when you talk about the fact that you guys are local. Can you talk a bit about the four of you? Because it's funny. This is the most you've talked to any of the four of us. I know Brian. I've never met him. I haven't even talked to him on the phone. That's kind of the COVID time. We went from Instagram messaging to emails to texting. So can you tell us about yourself a bit more, your Red Deer roots, and the four of you guys?
Yeah, so Red Deer born and raised for all of us. We all went to school together. We all kind of grew up together, had similar interests. We kind of got jobs in different aspects of the business world. And then we just came together for this. And it's been, it's unique working with friendships because you got to work through, when you've got money and stuff on the line and everyone wants what's best for the company. So working through those disagreements, I'm sure you guys have, the same type of discussions. But the fact that we're friends and we're all Red Deer has been a big part of it, because I think for us, we just really want to see Red Deer succeed, honestly, for me. We've been kicked around, Alberta's been kicked around, and I see other tech companies popping up in Alberta and in Red Deer. And I think it's good to see more of that and, be able to create jobs in a time like this.
So Troy, you guys are probably not alone being furloughed when COVID hit. There's probably quite a few Albertans that are in the same spot. Now, we've recently started this podcast, but if we were to look at starting a new industry, what type of new industry do you think your business model could be applied to, besides just food and alcohol?
Yeah, I think it's like, this is the way retail is going. Like, they're ordering stuff. You don't need all these stores at every corner with the way the world works. So I think anything that's retail that you want quickly can kind of, Amazon's done this, which is, hurting people. But I think a lot of things, you're going to see a shift in the way people sell stuff. It's going to be a lot more, delivery and centralized, and then getting it out to you quickly when you need it and you want it. So I think there's a lot of stuff that can be applied to.
So I think you guys should start doing seminars maybe for local businesses on your business model, make a little extra money, and teach about I think there's a lot to be learned there for local businesses, because obviously you mentioned Amazon and things like that can cripple local businesses. But I do hope to see it go that way. And we've talked about this before. It's actually amazing that it took this long for the Doortender idea to come up, because it's one of those things when you see it, you think, oh, duh. But before that, I honestly wouldn't have even thought about it.
Yeah, we get a lot of that. Like, doesn't that exist already and stuff? So it's interesting. But I'll give a quick shout out to, sorry for the free ad, but a friend of ours has Brindle in Red Deer, and they're a dog company, and they have basically the same business model, but for dog supplies, pet food. Check them out, Brindle. They're great, and it's the same thing. So that's probably the best example of your question.
That's awesome.
No, you guys paid $6,000 for this interview, right? So it's your time.
Talk about whatever you want.
Troy, you don't have to share any secrets or anything, but you guys have built a solid base here in Red Deer. You got the app, going. The growth's been, huge for you guys, and now you got the liquor store here in Red Deer. Do you guys have future business plans to expand into maybe other cities or make it a bigger thing? Or you don't need to share your secrets, but if you do have some thoughts.
Sure. No, definitely. I mean, we've been very upfront. So we're, our plan is to grow this as big as we can. We were fortunate to be accepted into Startup Edmonton Accelerator for tech companies. So our plan is to grow this in Alberta as quickly as we can, get to Edmonton, get to Calgary. The goal is to basically make this thing work in Edmonton. Do people want this? Will they buy it? And just kind of prove that this is a business that makes sense. Skip the Dishes, actually, interestingly enough, launched in Red Deer as one of its first markets, just because of the size. It makes a lot of sense for that. So we're kind of at that point now where we've got some staff. I'm not doing deliveries every single night, which was for 7 months of my life, was doing deliveries every night. I'm glad that that's kind of behind and we can sort of focus on growing. So we want to grow to Edmonton. We're kind of just now beginning to talk to different people who might want to invest in Doortender and, help us take it from this kind of neat idea to something much bigger. So God willing, we'll see.
Well, and that's why people see us. We're always Doortender this, Doortender that on social media, because we honestly believe in you guys, and we appreciate that you believed in us. And I'm just curious too, because I think Dustin and I chatted and we said, man, Doortender, we talked about, got a little bit of traction on episode 1, and we're like, maybe we can do something with a couple local businesses and kind of expand. So when we came to you guys, how much of a chat honestly was it? Were you like, man, these guys are knobs, maybe they just got lucky on the first episode. Yeah,
no,
that's the nicest word that I think still describes us. But how did that go? Because it is a leap, honestly, and that's why we appreciate it so much, especially for you guys being the first. It's a leap to invest in something like that when you're as new as you guys are.
I think we're starting to see like the fruits of kind of COVID, if we can call it that. Like guys like you know, ideas that came up when nobody had anything to do, and all these crazy ideas are now like 6-8 months later, and you're starting to see them come to life. So it's pretty cool. But so if we're in the trust tree here, I can tell you the exact conversation we had about Oh Dear. So we saw Oh Dear, like Oh Dear followed us. What is this? Okay, it's the podcast. Like I kind of know Dustin from Hockey World. And I was like, okay, we'll see how it goes. We'll probably do an episode and call her quits. But we thought, as before you guys reached out to us, we're like, we should reach out. I mean, it's kind of the same, they're young guys trying to start something new. Let's reach out and sponsor them. We had this the very night before you reached out to us. And then you guys sent us a DM saying, hey, would you like to sponsor? And I can't believe they reached out to us. This was hilarious. And then we said, oh shoot, we don't really have any money, but we've got a warehouse full of liquor, so maybe we can send them some beer and see how that goes and sponsor the first episode. So that was the discussion. We weren't sure how it was going to go, and then we saw your guys' viewership just take off, and the social content is, you guys are great at it. So
good job, Ron.
No problem, guys.
Nice.
And so speaking of social content, I'm asking all the questions here, which is I don't usually do, but I'm going to talk a lot for once. But you talk about today. So I knew I was going to ask you guys if you had any weird delivery notes. So I thought today, you know what? I'm going to try it myself. And when I ordered our beer, I said, asked for the delivery person to give themselves walk-up music. And just like we've seen with Doortender so far, it was above and beyond. And I'm going to give a huge shout out to Cole DeGraff, another local kid. He shows up and I hear John Cena walking music, and he's got a belt on, carrying the beer over his head, walking up. So that was above and beyond. So a huge shout out to Cole for that. He went home and got a belt on the way to deliver the beer, and still made it in like 15 minutes. So have you had like a lot of any kind of deliveries like that, or just weird deliveries in general?
I mean, we get some bizarre note requests. Like people want you to like just crazy directions to like get into their house or go back under the gate, take a right, like down the hall. But say the secret passage word we've had a few times. This is the first like play your own walk up tune. And I told our driver, he was like, I don't want to do it. This is weird. Send somebody else. And I was like, no, you're funny. You're funny. But he he got the belt at his home all on his own accord and did that. It was hilarious. But I think that's kind of another good thing about what we've done is our drivers that we have been great. And, they'll stop and chat with you like, oh, I like this product and stuff. And I think it's a bit of a different experience than what you get with Skip the Dishes. They're busy, they're trying to do things, and they'll just drop it and go. And it's a pretty cold experience. So we try to have our drivers chat a bit, play it up, and getting liquor is fun. People are really happy when their booze shows up at the door. So we try to, play into that as much as we can. Yeah, we've had some bizarre ones. People come into the door mostly naked, underwear.
You can do that next time.
Like a lot of dogs getting let loose that just look ferocious, and the owner says, "Oh, they're fine," but I don't know if I trust that. It looks like it's going to take my head off for this Pilsner, but
I hope that that video gets a lot of views and people start making more requests of their drivers.
I was going to apologize to you if that happens, but again, no, it was kind of nice because I got to know Cole a bit. I knew his brother Trey from when he played for the Okotoks Oilers, and I think a couple of us probably know their dad Pete, and even. Actually, I think it might have been Cole, Dustin, and Lund who like shattered his ankle playing against you guys for Sylvan Lake when you guys played for the Rustlers. So those cool ties there, and that's the other part of it too, right? Is when you talk about how local it is just those kind of connections, and you remember what a small world it is.
Yeah, a lot of the people who even work for us have just, they've reached out like, hey, do you need drivers? Do you want to, like, do you need any help? And we've been able, most of the people that work for us, we kind of already know. And I think our drivers, our whole goal was to be a better driver experience and skip the dishes. Because if you think about driving for them, you have to go from point A to restaurant to point C and then to point D for the next restaurant. But with us, it's always one pickup spot, and we send our drivers out with like 2 or 3 orders at a time. Beer stays colder longer than, your fries get soggy whenever it shows up. But so it works out great for them because they're getting, each trip they're getting paid, they're getting tipped. So I think our drivers love it, and that, that translates to a good customer experience.
Troy, maybe you want to just mention where the storefront is located, because I believe you can go in and can you buy right from the store?
You can. So we're up on the South Hill by Fall Greek to me, Hybrid, Papa John's up there, and it's been way better. So I'll tell you guys, like when we first started, we found the absolute cheapest, and by cheap I mean free, warehouse space on the north end, and because it was right during COVID, and they're like, hey, we'll pay your property taxes, just let us stay here. We got a weird business that we want to see if it can work. So it was way on the north end, and almost like exclusively our deliveries are to like Vanier, Lancaster, Anders. So it's just so far away. So we were needing like a ton of drivers, and you're gone for 40 minutes when you go up there. So this warehouse was, we kept everything clean. We had like a drive-in cooler and stuff for it, but it was a dump. And it was like when you see the videos of like the Amazon, Jeff Bezos or Barstool, whoever you've seen, like the startup atmosphere, I'm jealous of them because we had like couches and dirty floors and some late night beer cans that were left around. Slept over there a few times and spent the worst part was, and this is when my fiance said, you're spending too much time here. This is too much. Cause your phone will tell you like this far to get home, or, it knows where you're at. So it was telling me home was the warehouse. So that's when it was time. We got to make a change. But the new place is way, way better to spend not as much of my time, but a lot of time.
So you've moved all your inventory over to the new place as well. You got rid of the old warehouse, and you guys are just basically in that south location now.
We are, yeah. We're all out of the old place. It was an absolute nightmare moving all that liquor, and it was January 3rd or something, so just as cold as you can get. And I owe a lot of guys a lot of pizza and a lot of beer for helping us move that. So it's all behind us now. So happy to be moved.
Yeah, I think
and the store is a little bit different experience too, right? When we're talking about the store, and you told me a bit about, I don't know again how much you want to share, but again, you guys are changing the game now for in-person liquor sales too. Yeah,
so the store is, the only way to put it is it's weird and it's not finished, but it's, it was kind of modeled after like a cannabis shop. So there's no product up front. So every person that walks in right now is saying, what's going on here? Can I buy liquor? So we're working on it. We're trying to make it seem more like a liquor store, but products in the back, because liquor store robberies have been going through the roof. We wanted to kind of create a store that was safer and from that perspective, but also really easy for like our packers to pack for our drivers. So products all in the back. You walk up to the till, say, I want 15 Budweiser. You're in and you're out. You tap, or if you want to shop, you can check out the tablet, scroll through the website like that. But it's a different experience. So that's a nice way to put it. I appreciate that.
So at the store, like, can people pay cash, or do you guys kind of want to get rid of that to discourage the robberies?
Yeah. So right now we're trying to push everyone to debit. It's sort of a work in progress getting people to change that behavior, but the goal is that you're in and out of there as quick as possible. And so when you walk in and you kind of know what you want, it's an extremely quick experience, and it's working good that way. So it's just training people. And what we've seen is like the click and collect. So I would encourage anyone, if you want to come in, check it out. You can just select pick up, and then it's ready for you. It's sitting there. It's still cold. You're in and you're out in 2 seconds. So that's really where I see this kind of going long term.
Maybe touch on, because obviously you guys have had to build relationships with wholesalers and buying the product. How's that process been with being in Red Deer? So
the local brewers have been great, and I know you guys have been good to showcase them all. we've had a ton of just like, it's really a community type of thing. We're not competing with, Troubled Monk, Sawback, Blind Man, all these guys. We're selling their products, so they're super collaborative. They want to help us out, and we succeed. We sell more of their product, they succeed. So that was when we started this. We knew nothing about selling liquor. We knew we liked beer and we drink White Claws, and it was great. But that's not really a sufficient basis. So we've been growing leaps and bounds, and the local brewer scene has been great to help us along with that process. And you guys need to be carrying this or price it this way. So yeah, it's a real communal thing, and we're fortunate to have so many of these brewers popping up, and we've got some really good ones here in Central Alberta and Alberta.
Well, and really important to note that when we doing O Beer and showcasing all the local breweries, is that was Doortender's idea. When I talked to Brian and talked to you guys really are huge on pushing local and supporting those breweries, right? And that's why, again, you guys really are, you're a community-minded liquor store, right? And which I think is really cool, that you guys really do genuinely care about supporting local. And I think that's why we like you guys so much. And booze, yeah.
And booze, yeah. That's the big thing. I was just gonna say my palate has expanded. I saw you guys talking about SRMs and bitterness, and I learned a little bit there. I was myself just very much a White Claw and Budweiser guy before this, and not too refined. But now I've gotten to try all these local beers, and now I turn my nose up at Budweiser sometimes. But,
Troy, I think we're pretty.
I need a dark IPA.
We're pretty similar, I think. I was always just went along with the crowd on the Coors Lights and the White Claws and whatever else was popular at that time. But probably pre-COVID a little bit, getting into the breweries and stuff, and really starting to support local. I've, like you said, expanded my palate a little bit, and I can drink an IPA now, and those SRMs, they get me every time.
Do you go over your weekly limit still? Or
yeah.
If somebody, like, I know you guys' selection is growing like every week, but if somebody looks to the app, doesn't see the beer that they want or the alcohol that they want, do you guys take requests? Do you guys have a way for people to communicate that they want to purchase this type of booze from you?
Yeah, 100%. So please, anybody out there, if you've gone on Doortender, your product's not on there, tell us. We'll get it in, because in 7 days it'll be on the store and up on the site. I shudder to think about the opening inventory we had, because we were like, well, we've got this kind of beer, it doesn't matter, this one's close enough. Not the case. People want Old Milwaukee, and they will not change. So we've definitely expanded, and we're not even close yet. So if you want something, it's not on the site, let us know, because we'll get it in for you.
And I guess when we're still talking about now inventory in the app, if anyone listening hasn't even checked out the Doortender app, there is a ton on there, and you guys do. I think actually it might have taken Dustin a couple of orders to realize you guys have the bundles and stuff too, right? Where there's you could save some money. There's cocktail bundles that come with everything you need. And so I'm going to ask you a question you know the answer to already. If the four of us say, hey, we want to make an Oh Dear bundle, throw in some local brews, would you guys do that for us?
Hey, we would love to have an Oh Dear bundle. Support some local beers. Make sure when you guys order for the group, you get a nice discount. And yeah, the bundles are unique for us. So whether it's like a cocktail bundle, a Spanish wine bundle, things like that, we package these up, and you buy it and you get a discount, and you get to try out some new products, or just get the products you would have bought anyways for a better price. So we'd love to put the Oh Dear bundle up and plug you guys a bit.
I think it's important too to say, like, on the app too, I feel like I'm on it every weekend with our poker games and stuff, and I haven't been in a liquor store since like you guys have opened, but like, it's important that like you guys have deals all the time too. Like, you got a scrolling thing at the top, the stuff that's on sale, and it's no different than the average liquor store with the flyers they would send out, but that jumps at you, and $2, $3, $4 off, beer or wine or, hard liquor is important, that you guys are also doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We try to, first off, we try to price everything with a certain chain. You can bleep it out, but a certain depot liquor chain that you might know, we try to basically just match their everyday prices. but they play a bit of a different game where they'll just sell things at cost and try to get you in the door and buy other things. We're always paying our drivers, so we can discount stuff and put it on sale, but it's just sort of two different business models. But things are on sale all the time, change it every week. So I encourage you to check it out and see what's on sale, and hopefully it's your product.
So
I have a question for you guys. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Troy. This will be a nice change.
I'm just curious. So there's four of us, there's four of you guys, and we kind of all start at the same time. How do you guys deal with, creative differences, let's call it, and stuff? Is it very egalitarian? You all kind of have a voice, or who's got the final say?
We just do whatever Ted tells us to do.
No, I was going to say that the three of us bully Ted and we just do whatever we want, but I'd be lying when I say Ted's the radio guy. He's the brainchild behind this thing and does most of, if not all of the work. So we're all ears when he's talking, and we let him have final cut on everything. So we don't have much of a say.
Okay.
But he does listen to some of our good ideas. So most of the good stuff makes it in. There's only a little bit of the good stuff that gets cut. And we're still working on him for that, though.
Yeah, and I'll admit too, there's a lot of good ideas, and I think I'm trying. I think I've come along. When I started this, I had one idea of how it was going to go. This is how we're going to do it, and yeah, these guys. The more we've done it, I know I forget sometimes that they've never picked up a microphone really in their life, and for me, it's almost 10 years I've been doing stuff like this. So yeah, a lot of it right now revolves around making it as easy as it can for me with all the work I'm doing, because no fault of their own. The editing, all that stuff falls on me, but I'm trying to be more open, and there is lots of good ideas flying around, and yeah, I would say final say comes down to me, but I would hope at least that it still feels like an open forum.
I was going to mention too, like, Troy, you're a hockey guy, and I'm not sure that you're the other business owners, that they are or not, but close friends of yours, obviously. I just feel like, we have our fights and we have our differences, we have our arguments. And at the end of the day, if you're close enough with those people and understand the relationship, you have your fight and you move on, and you're friends 5 minutes later. And I would assume you guys are kind of like that too. And with the bond you guys have with your friends, and, you might feel like you lost an argument or won an argument, but 2 minutes later, it's like, why the hell were we fighting about that anyway? So you just kind of move on. Yeah. You drink some more beer together, and you guys have the liquor store, so that makes it pretty easy. And
it does. So we kind of distilled down how to solve problems. Basically, we're getting to points, we want to do it a certain way. Basically, if you want to get your way, you bet shotguns, and you'll say, and it's
I don't like this.
Our currency
really
is we just bet White Claw shotguns, and if you're betting 4 White Claw shotguns, you probably mean business. So I'm going to go with you on this one, but I've had to pony up a few times, and that's not fun, but that's how we deal with it. So I encourage you to steal that idea and take it away.
Oh, I can't wait to cut that.
I like it. I like it.
Final cut, baby. No, I think that is important. Anyone listening, getting into business with friends, and I guess weird to say. I guess Oh Dear has become a business now, but yeah, there's arguments. So get into business with those friends where you can have those arguments. You can tell each other to F off, and know. Even in a matter of minutes that you can get right back to it. So it's the risk you take, but glad to hear, on both sides for us, that it's going well so far.
Mm-hmm. We also, the other thing we did sort of in that same vein, and when we started, if you wanted to bet, you'd bet like a certain amount of sign spinning. So our warehouse was on gates, and you'd have to go out there with the Doortender sign and spin on gates for 5 minutes. And it's incredibly tiring and very embarrassing, although it's for the good of the company. But you feel a little red in the face when you're out there.
So if we do the shotgun bets, I suggest you guys do some sort of bet that ends with a chest wax.
Yeah.
Like a big business decision, let it come down to getting your chest waxed. Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably hurt the most from that if we start playing that game.
I think I'm going to have to shotgun some White Claws if I end up losing. Just to numb the pain from the chest waxing.
Well, we'll go local. We'll go like troubled tea or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's no carbonation too, so you're even better.
Yeah,
off, so.
No carbonation, but a lot of caffeine, so do it early in the day.
Yeah, morning, noon, or night.
Morning shotguns. Yeah.
Speaking of drinks, Troy, what's with patio season right around the corner? What's going to be the new hot drink this spring or summer?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny you ask. So last year, summer, like we have a search bar in our app. You can search drinks you want. The number one search product, I don't know if anyone can guess what it would have been in the summer. It was White Claws, and it wasn't even close.
I was going to guess that. Yeah.
And then the second most searched item was White Claws spelt wrong. And the third most searched item was White Claws spelt wrong differently. So it was crazy. You couldn't buy it.
Way to go, Dustin.
Yeah, drinking us dry. But this summer, so many more people have entered the White Claw game, let's call it. Troubled Monk has a great one. I encourage you to try it, Adequate Vodka, which I think you guys tested out here. But, you've got Bud Light seltzers that just came to Canada now. So we've got those. I'm drinking them tonight, actually. They're very much taste like White Claws, but, something different to try out. And White Claw's got a few new, we've got raspberry and watermelon, which were in the States before, but are in Canada now. So I think that type of drink is just going to keep growing. They're, guys like us, and I don't want to speak for you guys, but you get a little older, not playing as much sports, and you start to, the Budweisers catch up to you and the IPAs catch up. So you need that 80 cal drink, I think, to mix it in a few times.
Yeah, Dustin.
Yeah, when I was younger, I would always look at the percentage, and now I'm starting to look at the calories. So that's one change I've noticed as I've gotten
You
older.
only wanted the high percentage, and now you want the low calories.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like,
exactly.
Oh, Big Bear, 9%. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember, the Molson cold shots, right? Like with the
yeah.
shotgun target on it. Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
I really got to know how. I can't figure out how you spell White Claw wrong. I guess unless you're just Dustin Moore sausage fingers typing as fast as you can. But I feel like if we had that in the spelling bee last episode, you probably both would have got that right at least.
A pretty low bar, but we see some peculiar stuff in the search bar. Like I don't know what people think it is that we do, but we've seen firewood. People are searching for firewood. Somebody searched tampons in the search bar. So don't sell tampons, but maybe that's a line of business we need to get into. But I guess the branding's not clear enough because there's some people are all over the map with it.
That's comedy.
That would be good though for firewood. I mean, bonfires are going to be huge this year with just the outdoor gatherings. So if you guys have maybe you can get that shop on the north end again and store your firewood there.
Let up with firewood, yeah. The AGLC is pretty sticky on us. We can't sell a lot of things really. It's pretty much just liquor items. But maybe you guys email your MLA and let them know that to sell firewood.
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna start a business, the 8 of us, called Doortender, and we're gonna sell delivery firewood.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think,
and dates.
or like
and dates, yeah.
I
Different
think,
kind of Tinder, but
Yeah, let's find you a girlfriend, Ted.
Yeah.
the other kind of Doortender, I feel like we'd be in jail, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of different laws around that one. So Troy, as we wrap up here, we'll just give you this point again. You're on here talking about your business. So if there's anything else you really want people to know about Doortender right now, here's your chance.
All I'd say is, if you haven't given Doortender a try, all we ask is give us a shot, try it out, use promo code FIRST10, use promo code ODEAR, save a few bucks, see if you like it. We're confident that you will. That's why we give those promo codes out. And yeah, just support local. If you've already tried us, tell a friend. That's, the biggest favor we can do for us. And while you're at it, tell a friend to listen to Oh Dear.
Yeah.
Like
you know what? Another nice thing about it that I've found is you can now send people liquor too, right? Like there's times around Christmas time I got to send these guys some beer and stuff too. So there's another way to use Oh Dear, or which we've encountered. You got a friend when you're on a Zoom poker call and he can't figure out how to use the app. Well, hey, I can do it for you and send you the beer, and that's happened and probably will happen again.
Yeah, to be clear though, that was 100% stupidity on our friend's fault. Yes. The app is extremely easy to use.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that, Wally. It was user error 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gifts are huge. People we started to I encourage you all to do this, sending your friends Smirnoff Ices, to get the ice, have to chug it. But
Oh, you've just started a dangerous game.
Oh, dang, yeah. Oh, boy. We'll try. We'll let you go so you can get back to celebrating your mom's birthday. But again, on behalf of all four of us, and if you guys want to chime in too, we can't say it enough. Our first ever sponsor, and that will always mean a lot to us. And we really appreciate you guys. And as we watch you guys grow now, we really do. We're not going to take that much credit, but getting to know you guys and being along your journey, it feels like we're part of it. So we love seeing you guys grow, and we really appreciate you having you on here. And when we can be in person again, obviously we'll have some beers in the summer and do some fun stuff too.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, guys. And, likewise, keep it up. You're killing it. I hope that, you can sandwich another good guest on after me with Cam Moon and then dips a little bit, and hopefully next week it picks back up. I appreciate the time. Thanks,
Troy.
Hey, thanks, Troy.
Oh, dear.